The first conflictogen we will analyze is the habit of judging other people. Let's see what this looks like. When do people usually expect evaluation from others? In two cases. If this person is an authority figure, and if this person is loved. Everyone wants to receive compliments from significant people, and they don't want them from those who mean nothing to them. A situation that I really like to give as an example. You are Oprah, a star. You have achieved success, everyone knows you, other stars respect you. And then somehow, after one of your shows, a newcomer to television approaches you. Let's imagine, for the purity of the experiment, that he is not very young. He is your age. He just started learning late. And he tells you that you did great. Well done. But in one place, you didn't speak right. You should have done it differently. He gave you feedback. Tell me, how do you feel after such words from an insignificant person? Do you have a desire to befriend him, to continue communicating, to meet again, to listen to these insignificant assessments about you? People are happy to receive evaluation and even criticism from those who are an authority to them. For example, who would be an authority for you in this case? This is your teacher, or some respected cultural figure, or a colleague who is on your level, but not a freshman, who has not learned anything yet. When an insignificant person gives us an assessment from above, or when they express their unwanted, uninteresting opinion, people lose the desire to communicate with them. This is a big mistake that almost negates the entire further development of the relationship right at the beginning. And at every stage of the relationship, this assessment leads to a strong negative reaction. And even if it turns out that this man is a very handsome bachelor, he will have to work hard to correct your already existing negative opinion of him. Do you know who most often falls head over heels in love with married men? Those who have spent their whole lives convincing everyone that loving a married man is very low. These girls always turn to me for advice, and their story begins with the following. I don't know how it happened, because I always condemned it. It was unacceptable to me. I considered it the lowest thing. So, if you know better than others who owes what to whom, who has what right? If you are ready to lecture others and teach, then life will certainly put you in such a situation that you will take the place of these people. Because we are human, and no one has managed to live without mistakes. God created all people with negative sides, including you. Don't notice the negative sides of others. Look at the positive, and the magic will happen. Yes, you will be surprised. But as soon as you forgive everyone for their mistakes, at that moment, you will forgive yourself. And it will become much easier for you to live and achieve your goals, achieve results, get what you dreamed of. What happens when you judge another person? When you judge a man? For example, a man promised to call the next day, to go to a cafe, for a walk, to get married, and so on. And he didn't call, didn't get married, didn't invite you for a walk. Or he didn't even promise. He just called you every day. You decided that he would call today too, put off all your engagements, sit and wait, but he doesn't call. Or let's say he invited you to a cafe every weekend, and this weekend you canceled all your plans. You sit, waiting like a cuckoo, and he didn't call. Or let's say you've been living together for a year, and you decided that he would propose to you, but he didn't. So, everything that the man promised, throw it out of your head and forget it. And even if he didn't promise, and you decided for him that he would call you today, will invite you, and so on, even more so, throw it out of your head, plan each of your days yourself. Why? Nobody owes you anything. And if you don't realize it, life will prove it to you. Understand, each person lives for himself, for his goals, goes his own way. People can safely ignore you all their lives. There really are people that nobody pays attention to. Why? Because they are not interesting, nobody wants to communicate with them. Therefore, accept any attention from others with gratitude, and attention from them will be repeated, and the attitude will be even better. So, if you immediately forgot what you were promised, or the man promised, let's say, and this person decides to fulfill the promise, it will be a pleasant surprise for you, and then you will accept it with shining eyes and not with condemnation and discontent, as women usually do. Why did the man promise and not call? The first reason, you mean very little to him and he just forgot. There is no point in being offended here, because let's imagine that a man was offended by you, that you accidentally forgot about a date with him, because you are invited on dates a lot, and you forgot about this date because you don't know this man yet. You don't know him at all, and he is not important to you, and there is no point in being offended. Instead of being offended, let him think better about how to intrigue you. The second reason why a person promised and did not fulfill. You are not tactful. You have already tried to teach him how to live, hinted with words and gestures, facial expressions, that you know how to behave, how to live. You did not thank him for some of his kind words, let's say, and some good deeds, but nodded your head. Well done, good boy. You pointed out his mistakes from your point of view as a parent. Sooner or later, or immediately, a person with this attitude of yours will break the promise, because adults do not accept any pressure. And you and I have the same system of values for ourselves and for other people. God created all people different. Imagine that only clones are walking around. Everyone would think like you, and they would go wherever you go, and they would be dressed like you. They would look like you. And where is the guarantee that you are going in the right direction? That you are an example? Look how different all people are and love this world. Don't judge others even in your thoughts. People cannot hide their thoughts. Sooner or later, thoughts come out. Why can't you use this conflictogen even in your thoughts? Let's say a man meets you once a week, and you want to meet every day, or even live with him already. Your relationship will not improve from your expectations, but it will even worsen, and meetings will become even rarer. Why? Even if you wait quietly for yourself and dream, the man will feel suffocating pressure from you. Why on earth? First, you think about him and fall in love even more, get hung up, drive yourself into dependence with your own hands. Second, take it as a law. No one can hide their thoughts. Your thoughts are written on your forehead. For example, you are angry with a man in your thoughts. And even if you restrain yourself from saying it, your facial expression will show it. Usually omitted from the dialogue. Let's say a man calls unexpectedly and says that you can go to the cinema tomorrow, and you couldn't resist and said, "Wow, you won't believe it." Finally called, you only promise, but you never deliver. Even if you cover your mouth with your hands and do not say it out loud, then you will look at him in such a way that he will understand everything from your look. You will show your dependence, your weak position, which means that you will become unpleasant to him. He will start to avoid you. He will become a strong partner because you are dependent. Put yourself in the man's shoes. Let's try to see things from a different angle. Let's imagine that you promised your sister or your mother, whom you visited once a week, to help her with the cleaning. That's what men sometimes promise. But unfortunately, it so happened that you were busy and forgot, and at the end of the week, with a good mood, from a pure heart, you decide to do a good deed to help with cleaning the house. To which your sister, instead of saying, "Thank you," says, "Come on, we live to see it." Now, do you still think this phrase is harmless? With such an answer, is the desire to help your sister with cleaning still there? Did it grow? How do you feel about her? Warm feelings? Or do you feel like running away from her? Imagine that she, let's say, didn't say anything, just smiled with, come on. Or even just looked at you with a hurt look. Because she expected that you would help her with the cleaning 3 days ago. She decided that you owed it to her. Pay attention. How did you find out about your sister's thoughts? Do you read minds? No, she just couldn't hide them, like any person. She quietly thought that you should help her with the cleaning. And thoughts turned into what? Into words and reactions. The only correct behavior in response to good is gratitude. Even if they promised you, people don't owe you anything good. Every good step from another person should be accepted with gratitude, and the steps will increase. Otherwise, they will stop doing anything for you. The man will start taking steps on his own if you stop pushing him, pulling him, waiting hysterically, thinking, planning for him, and so on. Even if the man promised, but there was no specific exact agreement, as usually happens at the beginning of a relationship with people. And in family relationships too. Plan your day without him. Plan all your days without including another person in your plans. And then his appearance or the fulfillment of some kind of obligation will be a pleasant surprise for you. And you will accept it with joy, and he, in return, will want to do it more often. Draw your own conclusions. Do you want to attract people to do everything for you with pleasure, or do you want to push them away?